Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Count Christo and this is another MEIOU in Taxes 3.0 Path to Modernity Basic Concepts video, and today we're talking about corruption. There are two separate types of corruption that are important to know about. One of them is state corruption and one of them is local corruption. State corruption is the corruption that you know and love from vanilla. It's this value here. It's affected by a host of reforms as well as by your elites. Provincial corruption can be seen by looking at the Elites tab and going to this first page. It's the degree of corruption that is shown under the bureaucrats. Now, it's shown under bureaucrats despite the fact that it is actually corruption coming from all of the power brokers, the elites in the province. It's shown under bureaucrats because it's basically their ability to corrupt the bureaucracy in the province. So, let's start with local corruption. We have 26.97 local corruption in Paris, and we can see that that's coming from the nobility, the burghers, the clergy, the state, which is the bureaucrats, and the laws. Now, the state and laws one are all about your interactions in here, whereas the ones from the other nobilities are based on their local loyalty and power. The higher the power of a local elite, the more corruption they'll be able to cause. The higher loyalty, the less corruption they will cause. We've just tested this. As you can see, the loyalty here is only 16.8. We just tanked that down from 70 for a test. And indeed, we saw the... sorry, wrong tab. Oh, I thought this was the right tab. No, that's where we see the impact, sorry. And indeed, we saw the quantity of corruption coming from the burghers go up dramatically. Now, the maths for this on the wiki appears to be wrong, so I'm still working on understanding exactly how that works. But the fundamental thing you need to understand is that to lower local corruption, you want to raise a state loyalty and you want to lower a state power. That will prevent them gaining local corruption. Now, what's wrong with local corruption, you may ask? As you see on your revenue screen, the local revenue screen here, and this also applies at the national level, we're making 79.224 ducats of revenue, and we're losing 22.4 to corruption. You will notice that the amount that you lose is approximately the same as the amount of corruption that you have. So if you have 26.9 corruption, you lose 29.6% of your local revenue. That includes revenue from property, I believe, but I'm not certain about that. Looking at these numbers, I think it must include revenue from property as well, yeah. So local corruption means that a whole bunch of the wealth that will be going to the state is instead being rushed off and given to the local elites instead. Cool. So that's local corruption. Now, state corruption. State corruption is caused again by the elites with the same calculation. The more power they have, the more they cause. The more loyalty they have, the less they cause. Specifics on this, I will try and work out and give you in a future video, but right now it's a little confusing. So I'm still working on that one. So that's one way you can control corruption. You can keep your estates weak and loyal. The second way you can control it is through a direct the bureaucracy interaction that I can't see right now because I've done one recently. And there are seek measures to address corruption or something similar to that. And it gives you a few options. You're perfectly capable of reading, so look through those. And it's my advice that you should try and be doing those quite a lot of the time, because corruption seriously lowers the ability of your state to collect taxes. This corruption shown here, the bureaucrats' corruption. This is the average of all of your local corruptions. And bureaucrat loyalty is the inverse of your local corruption. You'll see that there's some slight rounding errors going on just here, but don't worry about that too much. Then, of course, global corruption or state corruption has a whole bunch of impacts on your trade power, manpower recovery, foreign fire, spy detection, spy network construction, fort defense, legitimacy, power costs, recovery. Yearly corruption also goes down. It is a trending equilibrium. See my video on those if you don't know what those are. Global institution spread and yearly centralization. Remember that unlike in vanilla, 40, say, corruption doesn't give 40 more power costs. It gives 20. So it's half as bad in terms of monarch point costs to have corruption as it is in vanilla. Cool. That is a pretty quick video on how corruption works. I hope that helps you for your campaigns. Keep your estates loyal and keep their power low if possible to get the best corruption in your provinces. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.